Breaking pistol rules shift. Something major is happening right now across all 50 states, and most gun owners still have no idea how close these changes are to their daily lives. It could change the way millions of Americans carry firearms. H.R. 38 is moving faster than anyone expected. The rules are being rewritten. Borders no longer mean confusion. December did not just bring another update. It triggered a nationwide shift that could decide whether crossing a state line protects you or destroys you. These new pistol rules are not theory. They are built from real arrests, real court fights, and real people who thought they were following the law. Stay with us because missing this update could cost you everything. Subscribe now, hit like, and let's break down what every gun owner must know before 2026 arrives. Chapter 1. Why December Changed Everything. December quietly became a turning point for pistol laws in America, not because of one headline, but because pressure finally reached a breaking point. For decades, gun owners faced a patchwork system. Crossing state lines turned everyday travel into a legal risk. H.R. 38 changes that completely one permit now works nationwide. Courts, lawmakers, and law enforcement all acknowledged the system could not keep operating this way. Gun owners were being punished for geography instead of behavior. The moment that reality became impossible to ignore, change followed. Federal courts openly admit that carry laws burden constitutional rights. Attorneys general from multiple states are demanding reform. Lawful carriers arrested simply for crossing borders. Political momentum is aligning faster than expected. This rule removes uncertainty, prevents innocent carriers from becoming accidental criminals, restores confidence for travelers, and ensures that law-abiding gun owners can move freely across state lines with a nationwide credential that is finally respected everywhere. For years, these problems were brushed aside as isolated incidents, but December exposed the truth. When patterns start destroying lives, the law eventually has to respond. Chapter 2. The Patchwork that Trapped Millions. America does not have one pistol rule system. It has 50 different traps stitched together. A permit valid in one state can turn into a felony 2 miles later. Families, truckers, and travelers have lived under constant uncertainty. That uncertainty has already ruined lives. Different permit standards in every state. No clear national recognition system. Honest mistakes leading to felony charges. Law enforcement confusion during stops. The law was never supposed to work like this. Rights were meant to follow people, not evaporate at welcome signs. This patchwork created fear instead of safety, and that fear is the reason reform is now unavoidable. Chapter 3. Real people caught by invisible lines. Shanine Allen was a working mother from Pennsylvania who followed every rule her state required. She passed background checks, held a valid permit, and carried responsibility for self-protection. One short drive into New Jersey changed her life instantly. During a routine traffic stop, her honesty turned into felony charges that threatened prison time. Lawful carriers charged as criminals. Careers lost over technical violations. Families pulled into court battles. No intent to break the law. This case shocked the country because it revealed how fragile legal carry really was. Shanine did not change how she carried, only where she was standing. When laws punish location instead of behavior, ordinary people become collateral damage. That reality is what forced lawmakers to finally confront the system. Chapter 4. What the new pistol rules aim to fix. The new pistol rules are not about expanding carry recklessly, they are about restoring consistency. If a state trusts you enough to issue a permit, that trust should not vanish when you travel. The reforms focus on recognition, not deregulation. Home state permits are respected nationwide. Constitutional carry status acknowledged across borders. Clear standards for officers and courts. Reduced legal ambiguity for travelers. This shift replaces confusion with clarity. It removes fear from ordinary movement and restores predictability to lawful carry. That alone changes everything for millions of Americans. Chapter 5. How Law Enforcement is Affected. Police officers have been stuck in the middle of broken laws for years. Different permits, formats, and rules created hesitation during traffic stops. These updates aim to give officers clarity instead of guesswork. Uniform recognition standards. Reduced roadside disputes. Faster verification processes. Fewer wrongful arrests. When officers know exactly what they are looking at, encounters become safer for everyone involved. This is not anti-law enforcement. It is pro-clarity, and clarity saves lives. Chapter 6. The Financial Cost of Wrongful Arrests. For years, lawful gun owners paid the price for government confusion. Ryan Jerome Willis experienced this firsthand in New York when his legally owned firearm became the basis for serious charges. Even though the case was later dismissed, the damage was already done. Legal fees, stress, and months of uncertainty fell entirely on him. Arrests made under unclear recognition rules. Charges later dropped or dismissed. Thousands spent defending lawful behavior. No accountability for enforcement errors. These cases exposed a brutal truth. Even when the law eventually sides with the gun owner, the punishment still happens first. Financial ruin, job risk, and emotional strain become the hidden sentence. This is why accountability provisions matter, because justice delayed still destroys lives. Chapter 7. State resistance and legal pushback. Not every state welcomes these changes. Some blue states are already preparing legal challenges. They argue sovereignty, but courts are increasingly focused on constitutional consistency. Lawsuits aimed at delaying implementation. Attempts to tighten local restrictions. Federal court scrutiny is increasing. Supreme Court precedent favoring rights. Resistance may slow things down, but it cannot reverse the direction. The legal ground beneath restrictive states is eroding fast. Chapter 8. The history courts cannot ignore. Long before modern permit systems, Americans carried while traveling as a matter of survival. The historical record matters now more than ever. Courts rely on history when deciding constitutional questions. No permit systems before 1911. Territorial laws protecting travelers. Early Americans carry norms. Strong historical precedent. History does not support modern patchwork bans, it supports mobility and self-defense. That reality is reshaping modern rulings. Chapter 9. What this means for you right now. These rules are not distant policy debates. They affect how you travel today. Gun owners are already adjusting their behavior, routes, and preparation. Long-haul truckers like David McCoy and Jeffrey Johnson live on the road, crossing multiple states every week. Their permits were valid at home, yet worthless miles later. One traffic stop in Minnesota turned routine workdays into criminal investigations. Their only mistake was driving through states with conflicting carry laws. Truckers arrested during normal routes. Permits invalid outside home states. Jobs and licenses are at risk. Families pulled into legal uncertainty. These are not rare edge cases. They are warnings. Millions of Americans travel daily, assuming the law will make sense. These stories prove it often does not. The new rules begin restoring confidence, so travel no longer feels like gambling with your future. Chapter 10. Why 2025 and 2026 are critical. History is playing a role again, just like it did in 1887 when New Mexico explicitly protected armed travelers. Courts are now citing the same principle that self-defense follows the person, not the address. Modern judges are looking backward to fix modern failures. Courts relying on historical carry traditions. The Supreme Court favors original understanding. Permit systems were absent before 1911. Momentum aligning across branches. When law, history, and public pressure move together, change accelerates fast. This window matters because once national expectations shift, rolling them back becomes nearly impossible. The next 2 years will decide whether Americans travel freely or remain trapped by invisible borders. The moment gun owners waited for. H.R. 38 is rewriting the rules for gun owners across the country, from confusion and risk to clarity and protection. Your home permit will finally be recognized nationwide. Mistakes and traps will cost authorities, not you, and the era of accidental criminals ends. This is once-in-a-generation shift for self-defense rights, law-abiding. Americans are seeing the results now, from truckers on long hauls to parents traveling with their families. Nationwide recognition is becoming real. The new pistol rules are not about politics. They are about survival, travel, and fairness. They exist because real people were harmed by broken systems. This shift is history unfolding in real time. Stay informed, understand the rules, and protect your rights. Hit subscribe, like, and join a community that refuses to be ignored. The momentum is building, and 2026 will define the future of carrying in America.